The Indian seafood industry has seen phenomenal export growth in the last decade.
See, it's an association formed for finding solutions to our problems.
The first consignment of frozen shrimp was exported in 1953 from Cochin by Mr. Madhavan Nair. From that very humble beginning that we started, today, last year, in fact, for the financial year ending 2022-23, India exported close to 1.75 million tons, valued at over $8 billion. In rupee terms, that would amount to almost 65,000 crores.
Now we are really looking to reaching that 100,000 crore target in the next 5 to 7 years. The kind of growth that this sector has seen, no other sector has seen in India. That kind of 800% growth in a period of 12-13 years. And among the agri products, this is one of the topmost performers.
This seafood export industry, 1953 was not the first year we started export of seafood. In fact, it goes back 2 centuries. If you look at the Cochin Chamber records of 1936, there was 4,000 tons of dried shrimp exported from Cochin to the current Myanmar, Singapore, Malaysia and Sri Lanka. This translates to 25,000 tons of fresh raw shrimp.
The Indian growth in seafood exports has been made possible due to the efforts of the Ministry of Commerce through its promotional body, the Marine Product Export Development Authority. The Export Inspection Council, also under the Ministry of Commerce, has constantly strived to ensure that Indian seafood exports adhere to strict inspection and monitoring of every consignment of seafood exports. Further, India's foremost fisheries research institutes under the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, like the Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, the Central Institute of Fisheries Technology, and the Central Institute of Brackish Aquaculture, have made substantial contribution to the product diversification of Indian seafood exports.
When you talk about our association, we have 2 parts of it. In sense, it's not divided into 2 parts, but I would say the East Coast and the West Coast. East Coast is predominantly the culture segment. West Coast is predominantly the sea-caught segment, except parts of Gujarat where there is culture. If you talk about cultured shrimp, it is there in West Bengal, Orissa, Andhra, parts of Tamil Nadu and in Gujarat. Gujarat also has a certain segment that is the Surat area, that is where the culture is. If you talk about the sea-caught material, it is Gujarat, Bombay, there is Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala. These are the predominant sectors and little bit of Tamil Nadu till Tuticorin.
Initially it was the US that started all the buying, and then the Japanese came in and they were buying a lot of the peeled shrimps from India. There was a little bit of farm shrimp in Cochin, in Kerala, but the rest of the farm shrimp industry started in 1991 with Black Tiger as our initial farmed shrimp.
I think the early 90s were a time when the European Union exercised a ban on the seafood exports from India. I personally, in my lifetime, I feel that was the worst challenge and the worst times the seafood exporters have faced, because for good 3 or 4 years we were not allowed to export into the European Union, and states like Kerala and Gujarat took a real bad beating during those times. COVID came as another instance where times were really tough, but I'm very surprised and I'm happy to state that even during those times and after COVID, we have witnessed the highest growth in the seafood sector.
when the culture of vanami started in 2009, 2010, that is when, that I would say is a turning factor in the seafood industry as far as aquaculture is concerned. That helped us to get raw material throughout the year. That means at least we had raw material for about 10 months in a year. Unlike the Black Tiger days, we had only raw material for 3 or 4 months in a year. That I would say is a turning point in the seafood industry. Aquaculture sector, there are four important segments. One is the hatchery, that is a starting stage of the culture. Second one is the farmer. The third one is a feed manufacturer and the probiotics manufacturers. And the last one is the exporter, that is a processor. These are the four segments.
The Indian government has screened companies which have good SPS, specific pathogen free species, and the broodstock was imported from Florida and Hawaii. And first it comes to the quarantine in India, like the government controls the quarantine. After that they are sent to the respective hatcheries which have bought the broodstock, and from there the broodstock is kept for some time to stabilize. Then the Nopala is produced, then the PL is produced, then the PL is sold at a certain size of PL 14, the size of 14 they say, 14 days from the day it becomes a PL 14, and to the farmers. Here the farmer uses the feed, shrimp feed. He starts buying shrimp feed from the feed companies. The shrimp feed contains 6 varieties. Like from the PL 15 stage, he buys a larva feed, then number 2, number 3, number 4. Like 6 varieties are there depending on the size of the shrimp.
Seafood requires very high hygiene standards. It's a highly perishable commodity. If you don't maintain certain food safety requirements, right, then it is something that importing countries will not accept because it affects the health of their consumers. We have had to bring ourselves up to that level, of meeting that hygiene standards that are required, and which we have now succeeded, because today we have some of the world's most advanced seafood facilities. As a result that, over the years, Indian shrimp in the United States is considered the most reliable and one of the best quality shrimp from any source.
If you see the last 10 years, I think seafood exports have taken a very upward path. It has been the largest growing sector in this country. But like in the COVID times and phases where there was a drop of exports, but consistently if you see in the last about 10 years, in the last decade, I think this has been an excellent growth in the seafood sector.
When we started squid, the price was about 3 rupees a kilo. Now it is 600 rupees a kilo. So that jump of 20 times jump is, over the years is, really boosted our exports also. Like squids, octopus, cuttlefish, all these things have jumped in value over the years. And in fact, shrimp prices have come down.
Traceability is the order of the day. Our Indian shrimp farms are normally 1 to 10 hectare holdings. Consequently, traceability from farm to final export is a major challenge which the industry is in the process of overcoming.
Any industry, you have highs and lows. Now we feel, the industry has grown to such a level that, I don't say we are stagnant, but this is where probably all the association members should come together to make sure, we take it to the next level. But yes, we do have competition from other countries. Probably that is one challenge which we have to address. And the second and the most important thing, adding value to the shrimp will fetch you better price in the international market. I think that is one golden opportunity for Indian exporters to get into as much as value addition as possible, so that they can compete in the international markets.
See, of course, we are a 8 billion industry. We export goods worth about 8 billion from here. That's one part of the story. But the major aspect of this trade, we employ 21 million people in the country. Out of every 120 Indian, there are 2 Indians who are engaged in this trade, who depend on this trade. So I think it's a phenomenal thing which nobody has taken a view of. But I think we are this entire sector, be from the fisherman to the exporter, I think is contributing as an employer overwhelmingly to the country.
Over the years, the seafood industry has improved its hygiene and working environment for its workers. Minimum wages, employee insurance schemes, safe and sterile living facilities, sick rooms, and even creches for our female workforces are all statutory and legal requirements of all export facilities. These meet international standards. The labour laws of India today are extremely stringent, and all establishments must adhere to them or face criminal prosecution.
Our association, along with the Government of India and other agencies, we are working towards sustainability of aquaculture in India. It's almost like 10-12 years since Vanami has come into, the white shrimp has come into India, and the growth in the last 10 years has been phenomenal, and we expect the growth to be consistent because of the sustainable practices which our farmer is adopting in their aquaculture. So sustainability is the key, and that is the way forward for seafood industry.